Today's dedication is for Terax, who gave me a very generous 1 year's worth of subscriptions on Patreon. Neriv, Heart of the Storm versus Animar, Koma and Brudiclad. We've got, it's a turn 3 commander, and I don't know, maybe we'll be able to get Torbran in before the Inferno Titan enters. Maybe sneak down some haste in the meantime so Inferno Titan can enter and swing. We'll try this. A Soul Ring from Brudiclad allows him into a turn 2 Thopter Fabricator. Is it Signet for the Teamer player, so that will fix his red mana. We draw into Ghostway, so just a talisman for us. The fast mana, allowing our opponent to accelerate into a Stormkiln Artist. And speaking of tokens, there's a Nadir Kraken, so might have gone for a Sea Monsters tribal build. Alright, and a Soul Ring for Animar as well, into a Signet. So plays his commander. A Necropotence to refill our hand with. We'll need another black in order to play that, but it's good to have it available. Play the commander. Brain Surge played into the Stormkiln Artist, draw 4, put 2 on top. Makes a treasure token. And they drew their second card there, so they'll get a Thopter token as well. So 6 cards in hand, and the token generation has begun. Third Path Iconoclast, that triggers on non-creature spells and makes a 1/1 soldier artifact. And the Dwarf Shaman is currently a 6/2. Swings in against Animar. This only has protection from black and white, so can't block very well here. Draws a card into Nadir and puts a plus counter on it, makes a tentacle token. The first creature played into Animar to get the first plus counter on it, a Dowerport Mage. Whenever one or more other creatures you control leave the battlefield without dying, draw a card. So in typical Animar fashion, there's some creatures he's looking to flicker to get a bunch of plus counters on this. So hopefully he doesn't go infinite soon. And that allows us into the triple black. So do we go Torbran here? I think we'll be able to do that. So yeah, go Torbran. Alright, and a Wheel of Fortune on top as well, so yeah, definitely keep that on top, just in case the Necropotence doesn't last. Then with our 4/5, let's swing in against Animar. So as it stands now, we're going to get double the damage from this when it enters, making it 2, plus 2. You don't add Torbran damage and then double it. So it'll be 3 pings of 4, 3 flame slashes or whatever. Brudiclad into play. So we could get rid of that with Inferno Titan maybe. And then goes through to combat. Does he want to turn his creatures into anything? Yeah, he made a mere token and they just turned everything into a treasure. So obviously he can crack the treasure for mana, but he can also protect the tokens from a board wipe, a creature-based board wipe. And this is an 8/2, but is just sitting back for now. Another tentacle token made by the Simic player. And a Kodama's Reach. Dowerport Mage bounces the commander. So is there going to be a board wipe here? No, just replays the Animar. So was he just really desperate to draw into a card? That was weird. Alright, so we draw into the Wheel of Fortune. We know we're making a 5th land by turn 5. Let's just go straight in for Inferno Titan whilst our commander and Torbran are in play. And that enters, so it's Animar, Brudiclad, and I'll hit the Stormkiln Artist as well. And that takes all of those out. Brudiclad was on 4 toughness, so we definitely calculated it correctly. And let's continue to focus on Animar because he's got plenty of mana over there. He should be able to keep the commander in play and that thing can just combo off out of nowhere. I'm still confused about bouncing the Animar and replaying it. Unless he's just got absolutely nothing in hand. Maybe he's just got a grip full of lands. He's up to 12 commander already though. Noteworthy that this is dealing 6 commander damage thanks to Torbran, because it's not just non-combat damage with this, it's any damage from a red permanent we control, or a red source I should say. Works on instants and sorceries as well. Cruise the Thopter vehicle with the Iconoclast and the 4/4 swings in at us as you would expect. The Izzet player's just holding up a bunch of mana, so it could just be Cyclonic Rift. Might just turn everything in sideways over there. Try and encourage him to use it. And Koma into play for the first time, so might not be the worst thing to see a Cyclonic Rift. Now when do they come back in here? Return them to the battlefield at the beginning of the next end step, so if we do make our opponent go for the Rift in response to attacks, we can at least protect our board and dodge the Rift. And Koma triggers at the beginning of each upkeep, so a 3/3 Serpent into play for the first time. Alright, so Animar decided to scoop. We weren't going to swing in at him anyway. So it's another 3/3 Serpent. I'm still expecting a Rift here. Animar should have played it out because he doesn't know about our wheel in hand. I mean, it might be that we just don't play it here for a few turns anyway. But I'm guessing he just had a bunch of lands in hand. Now we could go Necropotence now while we've got the Talisman in play for triple black. And then just draw some cards and then Necropotence gets bounced back to hand. Well, so be it. Yeah, I think that's fine because we've still got the Ghostway held up. Brudiclad is holding up priority, so I might counter this. Yep, a counter spell makes a colourless third path Iconoclast. So this is why we kept the wheel. Turns out if Animar made it round another turn cycle, it's likely that he would have seen a wheel within the next turn or two at least. So let's go through to combat, and I'm going to go in. I'm more worried about the Simic player, so don't think there's any reach or anything. Definitely swing Inferno Titan into the left, and I'll hold back the 4 toughness creature just in case we need to block a Koma's Coil. So Inferno Titan has to stick 2 of the pings onto the Koma and 1 onto the Iconoclast, I think. So it should be 8 damage onto Koma there, I think, because it is individual pings that we're doing. Oh no, actually, this isn't doing the double damage anymore, is it? Have I just done that wrong? No, maybe we just have to go for the Ghostway. I mean, either way, we wanted to ping this, so I'm still thinking that we're doing the double damage from this, but it's only upon entry, isn't it? Koma sacrificed to make that... what was it? Oh, to make it self-indestructible. Yeah, okay, so we weren't getting the damage through regardless. Yeah, just totally screwed those triggers up anyway. So maybe it's worth Chaos Warp onto Koma in that case. At least we got rid of this thing. Let's go Chaos Warp right now. It does mean that we're not holding up Ghostway, unfortunately. But Koma's just too good to leave in play. Made him sacrifice a Koma's Coil at least. So, gets himself into Vigour, which is really not good against us. We're just going to have to start trying to pile in damage over here as best we can. Yeah, so if we did get to Flicker, how much was this again? It was 2 doubled per ping, plus 2. So 4, 8, 12 straight on our opponent. Probably not worth it for the Ghostway, when we could just save mana for a Wheel of Fortune and dump something bigger into play. I've been hurt by Vigour a few times in recent games. Players have started playing Vigour, apparently, and yeah, negating your damage is totally relevant. Again, the Izzet player not playing anything, he can afford his Commander, so I'm not sure why he's not playing it. I'm assuming he doesn't have Rift though, if he didn't use it there. Another Tentacle token, and plays a Bounce Land. 3/3, swings in at us. We're just going to negate the damage here anyway. So do we want to put a couple of plus counters on this for the sake of not taking 3 damage? We get a Tentacle as well. We're not going to be able to block and destroy these thanks to the Vigour. So let's just go like that. One thing we could do, this is another creature you control, so this can't have damage negated. So we could get rid of Vigour with some of the pings. Lauren is able to blow up something. I'd like to go for Ruinous Ultimatum at some point, but we can't afford it here. We're 1 mana away. So let's swing to the left here. Neriv can go over the top, because I think Commander damage might be relevant with this guy. And that means that it's... I'll try and get the triggers correct this time. So it's 1 on the Soldier token, which will be 3. And then 1 on the Vigour, plus 2 is 3. Another 1 plus 2 is 6. So that should be fine. Torbran and Inferno Titan is good, but we're not seeing too much from our commander at the moment, unfortunately. Lauren is one of the few just straight up ETBs. Okay, that was only 4. I thought these were just individual pings, so it doesn't work like that apparently. Alright. Are we just going to do Ghostway to get rid of Vigour at this point? Let the damage go through from the attacks first. So just go for a sorcery speed Ghostway and hope that the Simic player can't interfere. Alright, and that will all come in at the end of the turn. Command Zone is a no. Let's go Wheel of Fortune here and missed a land drop or 2, but hopefully we'll get one. The Simic player's got a grip of 7 already. Hopefully this will keep Brudiclad from scooping on us as well, because he doesn't seem to have anything. I'm assuming with my error on the Vigor before, it's because all the damage from Inferno Titan is just dealt at once, so it's not 2 individual pings on 1 permanent, it's just 2 damage, and therefore it's 2 damage plus the 2 from Torbran, making 4. Thopter, they're going to get a Thopter token, a Deer Kraken they could tap out into to make some Tentacle tokens. It looks as though they are paying into that. Discarded, they had Sublime Epiphany, couldn't afford Tamiyo Safekeeping, they didn't cast Rite of Replication. Interesting that they didn't go for Tamiyo Safekeeping, they know the Inferno Titan's coming back for this. Yeah, Heroic Intervention there as well, and a Krosan Grip. Anyhow, we drew into Scalding Tarn, can hold up a Path to Exile for us if we want to, because it might be that Koma comes back in next turn. So play the Scalding Tarn, and we will pass. And now let's get this right, it's definitely a ping for 1, which will be double to 2, and then plus 2 on with the Torbran. And then I'm just going to deal direct damage a couple of times to this guy, so he's at 28 at the moment. And he goes down to 22, so that was 6 damage. So yeah, it was 2 damage dealt to him with Inferno Titan doubled. With the Commander is 4, plus 2 from Torbran is 6. So that's the way to work it out, if anyone doesn't know. Apparently I didn't know either. Evolving Wilds, played and cracked. There is a Spire of Industry for the Izzet player. And there's Blasphemous Act. Us getting rid of the Vigor allowed him to actually play that, because this is damage based and it would have been negated. So yeah, we did the right thing. Just have to take it. It's unfortunate that we didn't get to play this into the Inferno Titan. This is a cool new one from the standard set. Have to see what we draw into. An Oliphaunt, 6/4 trample. When it attacks, another creature gets plus 2 to power and trample. And there's Swiftfoot Boots, so see if he wants to equip and swing in at us. He's very eager to keep these tokens in play. There might be no reason to play Path to Exile here, but we'll see if Koma comes into play again. Yeah, this would have been awesome with Inferno Titan. Even better with 3 opponents, but flinging all that damage around all over the place. And Koma back into play again, so we just need to keep that out if we can. Can't be countered by the Izzet player, so let's go for a plateau. Problem is with Path to Exile, you're paying for half the command attacks, but it just buys us a turn against our opponent at the very least. And he's Smothering Tithe for us. I think we have to get down after a board wipe. So that means we could go Knight's Whisper. And if we don't like anything we draw, it's still Wayfarer's Bauble. So we'll go down to 26 after getting the Smothering Tithe out. That gives us an untapped Swamp, which doesn't really help us. How do we cast this for free? Exile any red card. We obviously want our commander in play for that. But exiling this under the Mardu Siege Breaker could be good. Yeah, we'll have to have a serious look at that. Raucous Theatre. And surveil a Gimli's Reckless Might onto the top. We do want haste as best we can in any kind of combat deck, so leave that on top. And play the Wayfarer's Bauble. We'll have to make sure not to shuffle with the treasure tokens going for mana with this, which seems like the type of thing I'm going to forget in this turn cycle, so wish me luck. Pays for the Smothering Tithe tax with the Sol Ring. He can definitely afford to get his commander down again. He's obviously been holding on to that board wipe for a few turn cycles, waiting for the Vigor to go away. Activated the Archway of Innovation, so the next spell has Improvise, and use all his artifacts to do that. And uses it to get out a Dollhouse of Horrors, exile a creature from your graveyard, get a copy of it. He has the Stormkiln Artist and Third Path Iconoclast. Discarded previously was Karn, Scion of Urza, some lands as well. Put Swiftfoot Boots onto Oliphaunt, so haste, hexproof and trample, and hits us. I imagine he'll be focused in on us for the rest of the game. Plenty of cards in hand for the Simic player, which would pan out nicely for us. If we can get our commander down next turn, we could go Jeska's Will, and maybe get into some rocks or something, but worst case scenario, we just play this, try and set up for swinging in with this next turn. Oh, we know we've got the haste enabler on top as well, so maybe that's something for Jeska's Will to cast. We did just make a treasure token, so we can hold off on a land and try and get one off Jeska's Will as well. Adrix and Nev doubles up the tokens, followed by a Wrenn and 7, so 5 cards in hand. Might get some lands into hand though with the Wrenn and 7 ticking up. Priority was held up by the Izzet player then, so he might have another counter spell. Instead decides to make a Tree Folk by ticking down, so that is a couple of 10/10s with reach. So draw into the Reckless Might we know about. Let's go for our commander. Both the blue players holding priority. Then it can be the Jeska's Will. We'll get 5 red mana as it stands now against the Simic player. See if this resolves first. Okay. That's a shame to lose out on Legion Loyalty. So I think we want... What do we want? We'd have to pay a ward if we went for the Fury. Might be good to set up Fury. We can hard cast Gimli's Reckless Might and the Siegebreaker next turn. We can't go after Adrix and Nev with Fury because we can't afford the ward on it, unfortunately. So it's a damage onto Ren will be doubled, and then 3 damage doubled up to 6 on our opponent's face, I think. Yeah, it's a really fun card, Legion Loyalty. It would have been excellent to get some of these ETBs doubled up, but it's been quite an interactive, reasonably interactive game. So 1 damage on there. Oh, it's only on creatures. How many mistakes? Nah, whatever. I don't think we were doing much this turn anyway. We're just setting up for the next turn really, but it would have been nice to get some damage on my opponent's face there. So we'll just deal 3 to the Tree Folk. It won't do anything. We at least get rid of Ren and 7, which is good. And then the Bloodstained Mire. We'll get a tap land in with that. And the other cards will get exiled. So yeah, keep this board intact, and then next turn it's a case of, we don't even need the Reckless Might in play necessarily. We just need to play this, swing in with it, exile the Fury, and then get another Fury into play. But again, unfortunately, it's only dealing damage to creatures and not opponents. But hopefully we'll see a little bit of Myriad shenanigans at least. And we did clear a couple of lands off the top as well, which is good. Unfortunately, it's likely that the Tree Folk are swinging in towards us as well, so probably going to have to block, and that just kind of ruins any plans we might have. We could end up drawing a bunch of treasure tokens though. So anyhow, this is exiling the Dwarf by the looks of it, so makes a copy of the Stormkiln Artist. And now they could play their commander and make all their tokens copies of Stormkiln Artist, and then do they have a cantrip of some kind they can make use of to make a bajillion tokens? Brudiclad into play again. Goes through to the beginning of combat, so we'll make a Mere token, then see everything become a copy of this, I imagine. Yeah, they're a bunch of 5/5s, so they probably go wide on us anyway. Turns out there was nothing we were going to do here. He needs to be careful of the swing back though. Yeah, doesn't swing in at all, so we survive against this player. 3 cards in his hand, so if he's got an instant... Oh, there we go, a Galvanic Blast. He can afford the ward cost on it, so makes 1,000,000 treasure tokens. So he doesn't absolutely have his eyes set on us. But it's nice to see a Brudiclad player start to go off. Don't often see it. We've still got a Boros Surveil land that we can go for, so hopefully we'll be able to throw something bad off the top and try and get into something half decent. I'm just not assuming that we're going to have this ETB to play with anymore. Could always grab a basic with the 2 treasure that we now have, and that gives us 1 fewer chance of drawing a basic off the top. Asceticism is going to give hexproof and regenerate things as well, just to make it more difficult for us. Need to be drawn into the burn against our opponents really. Just grabbed back the Adrix and Nev with a regrowth, so in that comes. And the Tree Folk are now 11/11s. So, okay, not swinging in, that's good. Buys us another turn. Oh my god. Ugh, that's so annoying. That's exactly what I was about to fetch out. It's the end of a work week, if you can't tell. Okay, so is this fight, or is it... Yeah, it's a fight, so it'd be handy if we could bite with a Death Toucher and not take the damage from the Tree Folk, but, there'd be another Tree Folk in the way anyway. Yeah, all we're really doing is, well, not much of anything. Let's see what we might have surveilled off the top. Try and make myself feel a bit better. Obviously the top of the library would have been different had I have just fetched out the Elegant Parlour. And there's a fetch on top anyway. Throw that in the graveyard. So let's just do a little bit of something that we were aiming to do regardless. Our opponents are getting away from us here. So the Siege Beaker comes in and we exile Fury. Bear in mind the Furies are going to have double strike and deal double damage. And we've got haste twice anyway, but the Siege Breaker has haste regardless and death touch, so they might not want to block here, but well, they might. We'll see what happens. Gimli's Reckless Might is going to let us choose an attacking creature, and then it's fight. Yeah, we've just got big creatures in play, unfortunately. All this stuff has hexproof, otherwise I'd be going for Adrix and Nev. Is this a May ability? How is it worded? Made enough mistakes this game. If creatures you control power 8 or greater, target attacking creature you control fights up to one creature you don't control, so it has to do it. That's considering it's a 4-mana haste enabler, I'm amazed that that's not a May ability. So we do have to do it here. We just have to go for Brudiclad then, I'm afraid. I was hoping to sneak some damage through with that, but I imagine we're just going down this turn cycle anyway. Might be that they can protect the Brudiclad or bounce it or something. So Fury comes in the way. Oh, we can actually get Brudiclad out of the way before the fight, so we probably just have to do that. So we get 2 Furies come down. It can be only 2 damage onto here because it's doubled, and then 2 damage onto this one, and then 1 damage onto this guy to finish it off with the other one. Okay, and the tokens just moved around there, so now I've absolutely no idea what I'm pointing at. Wow, what a train wreck of a game. Oh, I can see there. Alright. So, this is pointing 2 damage markers there, I think. God, what a weird way of doing it. So yeah, we go 2 damage markers on it anyway is 4, and then 1 is 2, so that'd be 6 damage here. We're already dealing with Brudiclad, and then 3 is doubled up to 6, I'm guessing. Let's just hope I'm doing it right, because yeah, the tokens just moved again, and then again, so that makes it really difficult to actually keep track of what you're trying to do. But we're just trying to show off some of the stuff the deck is looking to do at this point. Alright, yeah, I think we did correctly do it there. So Brudiclad did go down. The Siege Beaker is going to survive, and we don't fight anything in the end with the Reckless Might. Yeah, I didn't realise that this, you have to fight with it. That's actually not that great. And this blocks a token. It has double strike, so our opponent might not realise that. The Oliphaunt is going to go down. Siege Beaker is going to deal 8 death touch damage here, so that's going down. And then, God, what's that? That is 12 double strike damage onto this, so yeah, both the tree folk are going down. This actually isn't terrible for us. And so when the Siege Beaker went down, it brought this back, and that means it's double damage time again. And these have been debuffed down to 3/3s because he controls fewer artifacts. So we can go like that. That's doubled up to 4, that's doubled up to 2, so it would have to be more like, yeah, more like that. Doubled up to 4, doubled up to 4, this one lives. And this is from the original re-entering. So yeah, just a little sneak peek of how good this thing can be. The fact that it has haste and death touch means that it's often going to be not blocked, and that just means that the next turn you get more Myriad shenanigans. So I very much look forward to playing more of this, hopefully. Anyway, we've wiped out a lot of our opponent's board. That means we might actually survive another turn cycle, incredibly. That's why it's worth playing to your outs. Paying into the Smothering Tithe again. The Dollhouse, maybe he threw it away on purpose to make a copy of the Oliphaunt. Oh no, instead he's making a Third Path Iconoclast to get his board up again. I'm liking this Brudiclad list. Goes for Improvise so he can tap down the treasure without cracking them. And in comes Brudiclad again. I don't think it untaps the tokens, so he's tapped down his treasure. He makes them a copy of something. Could make them all a copy of this and then play an instant or a sorcery and make a bunch of soldiers. And this time remembers to equip Brudiclad. I'm not sure he had the mana for it last turn. Could have saved his commander though. So through to combat, makes a Mere token again, and then turns everything into a copy of something. Yeah, makes them Stormkiln artists again. Most of which are tapped, but we do have some 8/8s. So he's just going to start dedicating more to the board now that we've taken out the 11/11s. Yeah, so an 8/8 at us, 2 8/8s at us, and 1 to the right. So I don't think we're doing that much with our commander now, unless we are lucky to top deck into something. See if we draw into some flicker. I'll wish we kept the Fury, but our commander won't be in play anyway necessarily. Our commander is going to be 8 to recast. We'll still have 1, 2 and 4 mana left, 5 mana with a land. Let's get rid of the commander. Not getting too many treasure from this Smothering Tithe. Our opponents aren't drawing all that many cards. Seems as though we're getting Koma back into play. It's Brudiclad's to win this though, because he just goes wide on both players next turn, surely. So I'm just going to make my opponent worry by cracking a Bloodstained Mire. Make sure to actually crack it this time. And just make it a... we might draw into the Tricycle land and want to cycle it. So just make it a tapped Shock land. What we can actually do next turn is bring in the commander with haste and then hopefully get through to combat and swing it over our opponent's head, get him to 20 points of commander damage, which won't win, but again it shows the types of things you can do with this commander, taking your opponents by surprise. Making the first Koma's Coil. Now they could tap down our commander with that, so let's see how much attention they're paying. They get 2 Koma's Coils actually. And, oh, there's actually a buff for our commander, so that's our only out against Koma. It just paves the way for this guy to take us out, but I think Brudiclad actually deserves it this game. Now, can we land a Rising of the Day and our commander over Koma? That would be a cool way to take him out. Didn't even have to crack any of our treasure here. So, get down the Neriv, we've got haste twice. And, yeah, he's holding up priority, as he should. So go through to combat, we've got a 5/5 commander, we're about to deal 10 commander damage to someone. And he allows us through to attacks, which he shouldn't have done. Does he have a Reacher or something that I'm forgetting about? Nope, it's just hexproof. So I'll go in to the left with this just for the fun of it, because he goes wide on us next turn. And then Gimli is going to make us fight something. So we'll just choose the double striker on the Dwarf, which we have already seen is one of the worst things about this card. Alright, and the Koma player sees his error, so is deciding to scoop. Oh, it's up to. God, I've been caught out by this so many times before. This is a mistake-riddled video, I'm afraid. This is what happens when I record straight after a long work week. So I do apologise for any of you who are enraged by such things. I'll get this out now as a correction to one of my myriad of errors. Target attacking creature you control fights up to one creature you don't control, so you don't have to select an opponent's. It always throws me off that. Some abilities are mate abilities, and then sometimes it says up to, so you don't actually have to select an opponent's creature, but you do have to select one of yours. It's really weird. But anyway, it's inconsequential because we didn't end up losing any of our creatures to my misunderstanding of this anyway. And yeah, the Brudiclad player is going wide on us regardless. We are empty-handed and tapped out. At least we got to take out Koma though. And even in train wreck videos like this with lots of mistakes, I like to upload them regardless, because it shows you some of the interactions that you can do with the commander. Like, it's not all about winning, sometimes it's about showing the audience some of the little combinations and things like that that you can do if you're looking to build with this commander. Then maybe you've seen some things that you hadn't thought of already. So anyway, Brudiclad makes another token, turns them all into artists, and that's a bunch of 9/9 swinging in towards us. So look at Dollhouse of Horrors if you are building a Brudiclad deck, because it's a pretty good one apparently. We go down to -74, and it's good game to Brudiclad. Not such a good game from me, but hopefully you all enjoyed it regardless. Big thank you to the patrons for supporting me regardless. I'm Tribalkai. Thank you for watching.